What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the PT Cubed podcast, where we bring together strength, rehab, and performance. I'm your host, Dr. Nate Karam, physical therapist, strength coach, and the guy who believes that your potential goes way beyond what you're currently settling for. This show is all about helping active individuals like you cut through the noise, train smarter, stay injury free, and optimize your performance. Whether you're in the gym, on the field, or just trying to feel better moving through life. Along the way, I'll be bringing on top experts from physical therapists, strength coaches, athletes, nutritionists, performance specialists, to professors, experts in the field, so you get real evidence-based strategies straight from the best in the game. We're going to break down training, injury prevention, rehab, nutrition, and of course the science behind building a resilient, high-performing body, all in a way that's simple, no BS, and built for busy, driven people who want real results. So let's get into it. All right. Welcome, my Padawans. Welcome to a different episode, slightly shorter, definitely to the point. I have my boards exam coming up in about a week from today. A week from today, the time that you'll be listening to this. And it's been a lot. It's been a lot of preparation. So I just want to do a quick, short, sweet episode, get this out there, something meaningful, something that'll help you guys. This does not follow along my regular path of episodes, but I think that this is something I've been asked frequently since I started this show, and I think that I need to make an episode about it because it's very important. So tonight's episode is short, sharp, absolutely worth your time, and especially if you're trying to think stronger, think clearer, or age like a beast. So what are we talking about today? We're diving right into creatine. Yes, the monster supplement. And no, it's not just for meatheads or athletes slamming pre-workout and stringer tanks. So creatine is hands down one of the most researched, safest, and most effective supplements across strength, cognition, and even healthy aging. So if you train, think, or plan to get old one day, this episode is probably for you. So let's get into it. Here's the deal. Creatine is a naturally occurring compound. It's found in red meat, seafood, made by your liver, actually, in small amounts. It stores high energy phosphate groups that help regenerate your ATP, which is the energy source that your muscles and brain use to function. What's the catch? Well, the amount that you get from food and what your body makes isn't quite enough to maximize performance, especially under stress, like during intense training or with aging. Supplementation with creatine monohydrate gives your muscles and your brain a bigger gas tank, if you will. And the best part, well, the research isn't new. It's just that most people still don't understand how broad the benefits are. So let's start with the obvious one, strength and hypertrophy, because of course we always go back to there on this show. So I'm going to be roping evidence into this, really all of my podcasts, because that's what I do. And especially now that I'm in residency, that is what I always have to do. So why not do it on here, get some practice in. So a 2022 meta-analysis published in Nutrients looked over 10 randomized controlled trials on creatine and resistance training. And here's what they found. Participants taking creatine saw an average of plus 4.4 kilograms more in strength and upper body lifts and plus 11.3 kilograms more in lower body lifts. So that's not hype. That's real statistically significant muscle output. If you're not familiar with randomized controlled trials, essentially they're a higher level of evidence where you take a trial group, like an experimental group, and then a control group. So let's say you do a group of people that are all just working out regularly with a routine that you give them, no supplementation. That'll be your control group. Then the other group, the experimental group, they will receive the creatine supplementation. So what this is showing in this randomized control trial is that the creatine supplementation group saw much larger gains in lifts and strength. So, these were trained adults taking anywhere from 2 to 10 grams of creatine daily for over 4 to 12 weeks. The results were most prominent in younger males, but still present in females and older adults, which is important to note. So what does this mean practically? If you're lifting 4 to 5 days a week and you're not taking creatine, you are almost definitely leaving results on the table. And the best part is that it's not some sketchy supplement from a warehouse and who knows where. Creatine monohydrate has been studied for decades. and it consistently delivers, especially when paired with progressive resistance training, like we've talked about on the show. So, now for the part that no one expects: brain gains, right, guys? Brain hypertrophy. A 2024 meta analysis, and if you don't know what a meta analysis is, an even higher level of research, very, very high level evidence in Frontiers in Nutrition, looked at 16 different randomized control trials with around 500 adults evaluating how creatine affects cognitive performance. And here's what they found: creatine supplementation led to a moderate improvement in memory, better attention span, and faster processing speeds. Now, here's the kicker: the effects were most pronounced under stress, like sleep deprivation, mental fatigue, or high cognitive load. So, if you're a student, a long shift worker, new parent, even, or someone grinding through life on limited sleep, creatine can absolutely support cognitive output. Little known fact. So, now let's talk about one of the most underrated and underdiscussed areas, which is aging. A 2024 review published in JPN looked at 33 studies on creatine's effect on physical function in older adults, and it crushed. Creatine supplementation, especially when paired with resistance training, improved strength, muscle power, and functional mobility, like sit to stand performance and gait speed. If you're in physical therapy or one of my classmates or colleagues listening to this, you're well familiar with those. Translation, well, it helps fight sarcopenia, the age related loss of muscle mass and strength that directly increases fall risk, hospitalizations, and a loss of independence. And those are a vicious cycle. If you're not familiar, once you fall the first time, you're more likely to fall again, and those injuries start compounding, and suddenly the aging process really settles in faster than it needs to. So, listen, guys, this isn't about looking jacked in your 60s, although, hey, that's cool. That's cool too. It's about living better and longer, longevity, right? That's what we're all about on this show: functionality, longevity, living a good, full life, and being able to get off the floor without a chair. That would be pretty cool, right? So, if you're a coach, a clinician, or you're just trying to get your parents on something useful, creatine should be part of the plan. All right, so loop that in the plan if you don't have it already. Now, let's hit the logistics. So, for dosing, you want to stick to 3 to 5 grams daily of creatine monohydrate. I would recommend five. In most supplements, creatine supplements that you'll find in your creatine monohydrate, it will have a serving size of 5 grams. So, usually you just toss one scoop in there. I have been doing that for the last 5 years, and all of those made up side effects that you see on the internet do not happen. I can guarantee you they do not happen. It is a very safe, very studied, very supported supplement from the literature. Okay. So that's it. Simple, effective, supported by nearly every study out there. Now, do you need to load, right? If you've heard of creatine, you've probably heard of a loading phase. If you haven't, well, I'm going to teach you what it is and then tell you not to do it. You can do a loading phase, but you do not have to. This is typically the way that people start their initial creatine supplementation. Um, they recommend 20 to 25 grams a day, split into 4 doses for 5 to 7 days, instead of that daily 3 to 5. But then you would trigger the daily 3 to 5 after that. So it's kind of like load yourself up. The idea was to saturate yourself with creatine, saturate your stores faster. But at the end of the day, the end result is the same. And some people have reported adverse side effects from that initial loading phase, which is where kind of all those complaints get mixed up into the literature about the bad side effects. It's mostly just people complaining of stomach pains or random adverse effects from their loading phase at the very start. So you can avoid that altogether by just not doing it. Because at the end of the day, if you start off with 5 grams a day, you will end up saturated. So don't rush the process. Just start off with regular dosings and keep it that way forever. I have been taking 5 grams a day for years, and you don't have to change that. That is the studied clinical dose. So now when to take it, right? Well, it doesn't matter. Morning, night, pre workout, post workout, just find a way to make it consistent. Your body builds up creatine stores over time, so the daily habit is what matters. So for me, I always talk about make it easy, make it simple, right? It's easy to adhere to habits, and create these kind of daily systems if we make them very, very easy to the point where it's almost impossible to skip it. So I usually recommend to people, why create a new habit if you can just chain something onto an old habit? So if there's something that you already know that you do all the time, why go out of your way to create another task on your list of, okay, I need to get a cup, I need to fill it with water, I need to put my creatine supplement in there, and then I need to drink it, okay? Because it sounds simple, but we all know It's not, and we forget or we make an excuse or and that will ruin the whole process because you need to do it daily. So do something that you already do and just add it to that. So for me, that's taking pre-workout, right? I'm a stim junkie. I like my caffeine. So whenever I make my pre-workout, since I work out just about every day, I just toss my creatine in there with it. It's tasteless. Most of them are flavorless. I mean, you can get flavored ones if you want, but I highly recommend just tossing it in something that you already enjoy eating or drinking. Some people do oatmeal, some people put it in their coffee. A lot of people put it in their protein shakes. Some protein shakes even come with it. Some pre workouts come with it. So keep in mind that too. If you're taking a pre workout that is already clinically dosed for creatine, probably don't supplement creatine on top of that because you're just wasting it. But basically, just know your body builds a store over time. Daily habit, just like everything else on the show, is ultimately what matters at the end. Is it safe? I hope we know the answer to that now. Yes, period. Decades of research, no serious side effects in healthy individuals. The kidney damage myth has been debunked over and over and over. Unless you have a diagnosed renal condition, creatine is incredibly safe. And you will not lose your hair. That's another one that I've heard. So now what brand? Well, I would look for certified creatine monohydrate. If you want third party testing, honestly, any plain monohydrate from reputable companies works. I'm just gonna drop a plug here. Bucked Up is the company that I've been using for my supplements for the last, I don't know. It has to be going on 4 years now, for almost five. If you want, you can use code NBK32. That's capital NBK32 at checkout. You will get 20% off all of your orders. I never plug that, but I just remembered I have it actually. So go ahead and use that and get yourself some creatine. And you can also get some pre workout while you're on there. If you're into that, they have really fantastic pre workout. Gets me going all the time. Anyway, let's get back to the point. So here's the bottom line: creatine makes you stronger, it supports brain health and memory, it helps you age better and move better, right? These are all bold claims, but they're all tied to research. So it's affordable, it's effective, it's safe, and it is wildly underutilized. So if you're serious about performance, physical, mental, long term, you would be crazy not to have this in your supplement stack. Get that thing in your cabinet. I want to see some protein. I want to see some, well, I won't say pre workout, but if you like pre workout, get some pre workout in there and absolutely get some creatine in there. That's like the holy trinity of lifting. But, I shouldn't encourage you guys to be caffeine addicts. So, anyway, that's a wrap on today's episode. I told y'all it would be really short. I just wanted to get right to the point, intertwine some literature in here, give you guys some quick answers. And I'm going to probably do a lot of episodes like this when I'm short on time so that I can provide a lot of value very quickly. Of course, we're still going to follow along with my mainline content, the guidebooks, all that. Tonight, it was just things have been stacking, things have been busy. So I needed to get something out clear, concise. And I actually really like this. It feels nice to just boom, wrap up an episode like that. I feel like I provided value. So we're probably going to do some more like this in the future. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap for today's episode of the PT Cube podcast, where we break down all things strength, rehab, and performance. I appreciate you tuning in. If you got value from this, do me a favor. Hit that follow button, smack it, leave a quick rating or review, and share this episode with someone who is ready to take their training, rehab, or health to the next level. If you want to dive deeper, head over to ptcube.com. That is ptcubed.com. That is where you'll find my complete guidebooks on strength training, injury prevention, nutrition, all designed to help you perform at your best. And if you've got questions, feedback, constructive criticism, or just want to connect, shoot me an email at natekaram@ptcube.com. That is natekaram@ptcubed.com. I love hearing from you guys, and I always do my best to point you in the right direction, whether it's training, rehab, or building a stronger mindset. You can also follow along on Instagram at ptcubed for daily tips, coaching insights, and a behind-the-scenes look at how I help people just like you stay strong, stay moving, and stay dialed in. So, thanks again for listening, guys, and as always, strength, rehab, performance. I'll catch you on the next one.